My name is Rakeffet. I came in Aliyah in '69, and I was privileged to be the Makkah Patish in getting this campus for Yeshiva University. The story appears in my seventh book, From Washington Avenue to Washington Street. God rewarded me, and the kollel began, and I started teaching. Totally began formal classes in '78. And one class I gave on Sunday, I wear two hats. One is Shas and Paiskin, a real old-fashioned Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi, etc. The other hat I wear is my doctorate from Bernard Rebbe Graduate School and my interest in Torah history. So my two classes are divided, although my students claim I can never speak Torah without a little history and can never teach history without a little Torah. In my Sunday class in response literature, in recent years I've been dealing with the responsa of Rav Menashe Klein of Brooklyn, the Gavar Rav. Very fascinating respondent who answers all questions from all segments of the Torah world. I ended off my Shayurim last June, and I will pick up again in Chodesh Elul, B'ezrat HaNoten Le'Yov Koach, with an interesting question that for YU has a lot of relevancy, because it is said that my dear friend and Chaver, who we grew up together, my brother's Chavruta for 16 years, my brother and Reb Tzvi Shechter, Heshel Shechter, learned together. We're all Bronx boys. And I'm told that Rav Shechter does not use dairy products. Why doesn't he use dairy products? Because many cows are treif. And he's worried that the milk is coming from treifa cows. The milk is also treif. Now, Rabbi Menashe Klein discusses this in great detail. YU faculty member Rabbi David Bleich discusses it in great detail in a very interesting article he published in Tradition. And Rabbi Menashe Klein, the heter, and you can pick up my Shurim in YU Torah, it's based upon the fact that Acharei Rabim Lahatot, we follow the majority, and the majority of cows are not treif. However, this leads us into a very interesting discussion. What do we mean not to use milk products? I can testify that I saw my most inspiring figure I met in my life, Mori Rebbe Rav Soloveitchik, the Rav, drank milk. He had to drink a lot of milk. He had a problem with ulcers. We know in the Torah that when Avram prepared the feast for the Malachim, milk was part of it. So we're going to come along and we're going to ask questions about milk, and this is a serious question. Leads us into the whole concept, can we be more pious than our parents, than our teachers, what Chazal speak about in the sense of mechse ki yuchara. It's like you're showing off. And I say this also ties in with my classmate, Rabbi Dr. Professor Reb Chaim Soloveitchik. We were classmates in his father's shir, Mori Rebbe, the Rav. And Chaim wrote a seminal essay, Rupture and Reconstruction. That essay was written about 27 years ago already. And he makes the point that with the Holocaust, we lost the live interconnection with the previous generation. In other words, if you're familiar with Chaim's masterpiece, which appeared first in Tradition, he makes the point that we didn't ask questions then. We knew how much matzah to eat in Pesach because we saw what our father ate. We knew how much wine to drink, how much mareh to eat. And I would say the same thing applies. If the previous generations drank milk, who can question that? But you see, our generation already has gone out on its own. We're like starting from scratch. And sometimes we come up with new developments where we think we are more advanced and more knowledgeable than the previous generations. So I can understand this question has come up. I have to say that Rabbi Menashe Klein goes into something much more basic when discussing this question. I'm told that Rav Shalom Elyashiv also had the same viewpoint as Rabbi Menashe Klein, and Rav Moshe Feinstein as well. And what I'm referring to is how far do we have to go in our religious observance? And I'll explain myself. Chazal had a very basic principle: Lo nitna Torah lemalachei hasharet. Torah has to be given within a human context. We can't expect human beings to be artificial intelligence to the second power. They are only humans. What am I talking about? This question came up with checking for bugs in lettuce, in vegetables. Tell me, do you have to use a light table? And I've seen people, a light table that an artist uses to draw on, to do a ketuvah, a light table to copy something. Do you have to use a light table to check lettuce? See, if you take the viewpoint rupture and reconstruction, you might very well say, well, we have light tables today. Previous generations didn't have them, so we are in a better situation. Many poskim felt, Lo nitna Torah lemalachei hasharet, you check as your parents and grandparents and rebbeim check throughout the generations, but one is not obligated to check with a light table. What the naked eye doesn't see is not considered forbidden. Rabbi Menashe Klein and others raised the same issue in relation to checking a Sefer Torah with the computer program. Did our grandparents have it? Absolutely not. Rabbi Menashe Klein, interestingly, feels the human eye is better than a computer program. And he brings examples. He says he knows of cases where Sifrei Torah were checked by the computer and the computer still did not find all the mistakes. And what a human being is required to do is to check with his eyes, as we've done in all generations before us. And this is better than any computer check. Finally, this brings us to the question I began with a few minutes ago: milk. The person questioning Rabbi Menashe Klein comes up with a solution. We should have x-ray machines looking at the cows before we milk them, and if we see on the x-ray machines there are no treifot, then we should milk them. And Rabbi Menashe Klein totally dismisses this. Could you imagine? Farmers would have to invest in x-ray machines. People traveling, particularly Hasidim who are Makpid and Chalav Yisrael, would have to carry portable x-ray machines with them. I'm quoting Rabbi Menashe Klein here. And Lo nitna Torah lemalachei hasharet. So let me conclude. It's a fascinating question. There's much more that I have to say about it, and you can pick it up on YU Torah, my Sheyurim, but halacha l'maisa may be a machmir, but we say in Yiddish, machmir is for mir allein. It's for me, myself. It's not for the public. But in a public response, we have to live within a human framework. And most cows are not treif, and milk, we have to drink it, very important, very healthy for us. The calcium, the bones, and all that milk gives us. We make a bracha and thank the Almighty. And this is the viewpoint of Reb Menashe Klein. Thank you very much, and Besora Tova Taleinu Val Kol Yisrael.